City Council meeting of February 5th has come to order. Can we please stand up for Pledge of Allegiance? And Corporal Lang, would you lead us in Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And please remain standing. Mayor Pro Tem.
This could be a moment of silence for our first responders, military. So far this year, I think we've lost 14 police officers in the line of duty. So if you would join me now, please. Thank you.
And please remain standing. As you guys know that today we went to the services for our Finance Director, Assistant City Manager, Odie Ortiz. So let's have a moment of silence for Odie as well, please. Thank you. Please be seated. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Baptista.
Present.
Councilmember Aguilar.
Present.
Councilmember Kang.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Present.
Mayor Samra.
Present.
For the record, all council members, Mayor Pro Tem, and Mayor in attendance.
Closed session announcements. There are no announcements. Direction was given to staff. Changes to the agenda.
Yes, Mayor, I would like to table item 6 and 7, please.
Any other changes, council staff? If not, we'll move on to awards, presentations, and proclamations. Tonight, I have the honor of providing plaques to some folks that serve the community very well. And I'm going to step forward and I'll call them up each at a time. As you know, we recently had an election and we have 3 new members. That means we have 3 former members sitting in the audience, and also our planning commissioner who, I don't know if it's a promotion or what do you want to call it, but is on the college board at this time. So the city did want to acknowledge and honor each and every one of them. So I'll start out in no particular order. Okay, former Councilmember Mr. McCabe, can you come forward, please? This is a acknowledgement of your service to the community. It says Alex McCabe, City Councilmember 2015 to 2018, and appreciation for your dedicated service to Livingston City Council and his community as a council member, and for all your contribution and leadership. The entire city wants to thank you. Here, if you want to keep it from getting scratched. Okay. Okay, Mr. Mendoza, come forward, please. You're the next contestant, as they say, you know. And it's a plaque. It says City of Livingston Service Award presented to Mario Mendoza Planning Commission, 2011 to 2018, and appreciation years of dedicated service to the City of Livingston Planning Commission. So thank you from the City Council and the city. He's gonna make it happen. Mr. Sicaro, can come forward, please? Okay, this is for Arturo Sicaros, as City Council Member 2012 to 2018, in appreciation for your dedicated service to Livingston City Council and its community as a council member and for all your contribution leadership. On behalf of the city and the city council. This is recyclable. And last but not least, Mr. Mayor, Jim Soria, can you come forward, please? It says Jim Soria, City Mayor 2016 to 2018, City Council Member 2012 to 2018. An appreciation for your dedicated service to Livingston City Council, this community, and as a mayor and a council member for all your contribution and leadership on behalf of the City Council and the entire city. Thank you, Mayor. Of course.
Thank you, Council, and I want to thank the citizens that elected me for council member and mayor. So I appreciate it. Thank you to all the city staff and all the city workers, public works, city hall, police department, anyone from city hall that did a great job. It was greatly appreciated. And thank you to the community, and thank you for your support, and God bless you, and congratulations to you. Thank you.
Before I conclude, I just want to say to the Planning Commission and the council members, yeah, there are times we disagreed on policy, but at least we treat each other with respect, and we managed to do a lot of things, good things for the city. And for that, I think we, the council, and the entire city is very appreciative, because things can go really, really wrong. Just look up our neighbor, you know. At least we, no, I don't. But that shows the dedication of everybody that's involved here, willing to do what they think is best for the community. Not necessarily in the same voice, but at least in a general direction. So thanks you once again, and don't be strangers, okay? Meeting's still open to you. Thank you. Okay, moving on to announcements and reports. Supervisor Rodrigo Espinoza.
Thank you, Mayor, councils. I have my notes here. So first of all, you know, I know Odie's in heaven, and unfortunately I couldn't go to his funeral today or yesterday because I had a MAC meeting in LeGrand and a board meeting this morning, and since I didn't attend last week on the board meeting, so I had some obligations to do today, so I couldn't attend the funeral as well. But my heart, Odie gave everything to the city, and we want to thank him up, in heaven. So peace be with you and with his family as well. And thank you to all the past elected officials and planning commissioner that served our city. And I know it's pretty hard. Sometimes it's up and down in politics, but when you serve, I know that you're giving your best, and we have to make hard decisions, and for the employees, for the citizens of the city, and I want to thank you for making all those decisions. So thank you. I just want to restate that I ended today's board of supervisors meeting in memory of Ori Ortiz, and we'll have a certificate made, and hopefully I'll give it to the city manager, Jose. if you can, once I get it, we'll send it to the family as well. I just want to state that I'll be attending the second session this weekend on the Well Untapped, which I was invited to attend for the next, as I said in the past, the next 6 months. It'll be in Fresno this weekend, so I'm pretty sure ex-councilmember McCabe attended that Well Untapped, and where you learn much about the water projects, water all around the state, and I'm pretty sure we'll be learning probably about the Friant Dam and the water deliveries from the federal project that delivers water to all the farmers around Fresno and Southern California. So other than that, I don't know much today unless anybody has any questions from the council or the public. No. Mayor, no questions?
No, just,
Thank you very much.
thank you, Supervisor.
And my daughter has a game today, so I'll be leaving early since they got 2 games today and Thursday, and that'll be the final for. And they're in first place, and she plays for varsity, so they're doing pretty good. So hopefully I think they have the 2 easier games this week, so we'll probably see them in the playoffs. So congratulations to them too.
All right, thank you. Staff announcements and reports, and we'll start out with Public Works.
Good evening, Your Honorable Mayor, council members, members of the public. Council, I do not have a presentation this evening, but I would like to take this time to update and inform the council of some issues we've had recently with well 13. Approximately 2 weeks ago, the well did seize up on us. Since then, we have called a well pump company, Shannon Pump, to pull the well, to pull the equipment and conduct an inspection. Coarse sand was found in a bowl assembly. The well was videoed, and upon a video inspection, the screening in the well, the perforations were found to be really plugged up with a lot of buildup and debris on them. So what's next? The video didn't indicate where that coarse sand was coming from. So the next step will be to airlift the well. And basically what happens when you airlift a well is the perforations are pressure washed, cleaned, all the buildup is knocked off. Then that well is, all that suspended material and the buildup is blown out of the well, and it'll be re-videoed to have a better quality inspection, and hopefully we can find out where that sand's coming from. That's all I have. Any questions?
Questions, audience? Council? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chief?
Good evening, Mayor and council members of the public. And I wanted to echo what the supervisor said, whether it's at the local level, county level, state level, or federal level. I know it's a tough position to be in, an elected position. And I was watching the State of the Union address earlier, and a lot of things going on across the country. But what's important to us is what happens here at the local level. So I want to thank our mayor and those that served and all the work they did for our communities. So. Just a quick presentation. I did find my my thumb drive that actually worked this time, so I was able to load it up. I was going to show some pictures from our Cops for Kids event and our seniors Christmas event. We had, prior to the Cops for Kids event, we actually had Santa visit the senior center and pass out some gifts to all the seniors that were there. And then we prepared for the large event here we had at the here in the council chambers, which was our North Pole. Preparing for an event like this is a lot of work, and we got a lot of volunteers and a lot of support from the community. A lot of people donated to help with this event. This is Corporal Kirk and one of our dispatchers, Deanna Eldridge, and just helping wrapping toys. Can't do without our explorers. We've got about 35 dedicated explorers that help at all these events, and so it was nice having them there to help support the event. And again, they wrap like 600 plus gifts for all the kids that arrive, so it's a lot of wrapping. And then the fun begins. The magical evening of these young, bright-eyed kids from our community visiting Santa and Mrs. Claus and getting their gifts. So it's just a great evening and a lot of fun. And as you know, Caleb Millard, they donate 25 bikes to our community as well to help with the event in his honor. And then a couple of pictures, and I want to thank Councilmember Kang for providing some ice cream for all the youth. And then I think we polished it off, I think, a couple evenings. So, and then Councilman Garcia as well came by to support the event, as well as our mayor did. But it was nice having our electeds here supporting the event as well. After the holidays were over, we actually assigned officers to go out and patrol the school zones, remind the motorists that the school's back in session after a long break, and to drive safely. And one of our corporals actually was at a school and helped lead the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning, so that was kind of neat for him to do that. Every 2 years, all officers have to undertake 24 hours of training. It's called perishable skills training. And it's something that we value in ensuring that our officers do everything properly, and it's training to just reinforce those things that we learned in the academy. And one of the trainings that we hosted here was Force Options. South Bay Regional Academy out of South San Jose brought their unit out here, which is a really nice Force Options simulator. And we invited some of the local agencies, the smaller departments, to come in and received 4 hours of the Force Options training. And so 2 wonderful instructors came out to help with that, and at no cost to the city, but it was a great time to be involved with that. I think I mentioned this before. I was assigned by the California Police Chiefs Association to the League of Cities Policy Committee. I did that last year. I truly enjoyed it, and they basically asked if I wouldn't mind doing it again. I said, sure, I'd love to. This is an opportunity for me to represent the city at the state level and talk about different issues that impact our communities. We meet from people throughout California and talk about those pending bills that are coming before votes. One of the biggest things that doesn't impact us too much, but it's something that impacts many communities throughout California, is homelessness. And there's several bills to try to address that and address mental health as well. So next meeting will be down in Southern California in March, and I'll be attending that. I'd like to invite everybody to our next Merced County Officers of the Year banquet, which will be on April 24th. This year will be at the Elks Lodge and start about 6 p.m. This is from last year's, where we had the CHP Commissioner Warren Stanley came to help support those officers who have done great things throughout the county. Each agency nominates one officer, and they're recognized at this event. So mark your calendars if you want to attend this event, and it's a great way to support our law enforcement community. Next couple of slides, I want to talk about some of the statistics. I try to do it January every year, and I'm going to actually add go back one extra year, because if you look at homicides, 2015, knock on wood, was the last time we had a homicide here in Livingston. But from 15 to 16, for the most part, was a slight increase in overall crimes, 520. But if you look at the statistics, some of the things that went down, robberies, a significant decrease from 11 to 6. And then some things that increased. So we go from 16 to 17. Again, 0 homicides. Robberies increased significantly by 100% from 6 to 12. But then a lot of decreased statistics in other areas. One of the things was burglary went from 114 to 94, and that's a significant decrease in our community. And so overall, crimes went from 520 to 429, and 18% reduction. So now we go to this last year. Very small uptick in overall crime from 429 to 444, basically 3% increase. But again, looking at no homicides, for the most part, everything was stayed the same. One of the things that did increase was stolen autos, which tends to be one of those things that we've had a rash of those lately. And you know, there's certain people from our community that we know that are notorious for stealing cars, and we try to keep tabs on them. But again, it's something we can't do 24/7 on a specific individual. But again, the burglary, and I want to thank our officers for staying on top of the burglaries. Those are one things that plagued our community when I first came here, and they're able to reduce them. Here, we're able to identify specific people, and I've actually announced it here in our council meeting, and through some great work by our officers and detectives, those folks were sent to jail and prison for a while. Unfortunately, some of them have since been released. Again, it's categorized as a property crime, and it's not categorized as a violent crime. So punishment for those crimes tends to be a little bit more lenient as far as them. But I do want to thank the district attorney for really putting this case together and pursuing it and ensure that we were able to get some convictions on those crimes. Next, I want to talk about calls for service from 2017 to 2018. If you look at priority 1 crimes, there was a significant increase. However, priority 3s was a significant decrease. So overall, the calls for service, somewhat of a small decrease. If you know, priority 1 calls are those significant felony crimes which are in progress, whether it's robbery, rape, homicide, aggravated assault, burglary, stolen auto, those type of crimes. Average response times, if you look at the priority ones, those are the times we have to get to that crime immediately, and there was I'm going to say a significant decrease in the time it took us to respond. So the time the dispatcher picks up that phone, answers the phone, dispatches officers, the average response time till the officer arrived on scene was 3 minutes and 9 seconds. So that's pretty quick. Our priority 2s and priority 3s, they kind of went up quite a bit. Not sure why that is. I know that some of the crimes that they were out on, they spend more time investigating those crimes. Average clearance time, just a little slight uptick on those. And then the overall cases. As you know, we dispatch for Gustine Police Department as well. So if we look at the cases, Livingston Police Department, total cases from 17 to 18, about 50 cases more. However, Gustine PD had almost doubled their total reports taken. If you look at the incidences, Livingston PD from last year, small decrease, and then as well as Gustine PD incidents, small decrease. So put those together, significant decrease in calls for incidences handled by our dispatch center. Right now, we're pretty much at full strength. We have one officer who will be, I believe, sworn in here at the next council meeting. If not the next one, it'll be for sure the following one. I need to confirm the schedule for that. But other than that, we're at full strength now. We did a big recruitment for reserve officers, and we have actually one reserve officer right now that's in the field training program. And so I think we have a total of 3 now, 3 reserve officers. But again, we try to recruit for reserve officers because they do provide a resource to the city, a great benefit, and it doesn't impact our budget. I know there's a lot of verbiage up there, but I'll explain real quickly a couple of the challenges we have, and not only us as an agency, a police department, but across the state. Is one of the bills that got passed, SB 1421, and this is related to PRA requests, where you can, after a certain amount of time, I think it's 45 days, you can actually, or 60 days, you can request specific records from police departments related to misconduct, serious misconduct. So anytime an officer has been involved in a shooting, anytime he's been involved in an incident where there's either great bodily injury or death, anytime he's involved in a situation where he might be involved in a sexual assault as the perpetrator, or other cases of misconduct related to not being truthful, lying, things like that. Now the public has the opportunity to pursue those records, which before they were not under PRA, under Peace Officer Bill of Rights, you weren't able to access them unless you went through the proper channels and went to an in-camera hearing through the judges and things like that. There's certain things that cannot be released, such as personnel information like addresses and specific witnesses and victims and medical reports and things like that. But this is something that will impact all agencies, and there's no recourse for, other than the standard recourse for putting that information, putting this packet together, providing it to the person that's requesting it. We did, so far we, as an agency, we've had one PR request related to this, and I want to thank Jose Sanchez's office for assisting with the response on that one. But again, this is something that will impact us for years to come. And so it's something that we have to look at. If we have, if we continue to get some requests for that, we have to look at how we can handle those and ensure we do that in a timely fashion. Along those same lines was, and I talked about this a while ago, AB 748 related to release of video. So after 45 days, unless there's a compelling reason to hold it, videos related to serious crime must be released. And again, there's no funding mechanism to provide this. Our staff right now is inundated. I think it's a great, our batted camera system, our in-car camera system, it's a great tool for law enforcement. However, it does come at a cost. The district attorney's office needs all these videos when they pursue criminal filings against people suspected of crimes. And so we have Maribel Arevalo does a great job. Emma Barragan does a great job, but it takes a significant amount of their time to produce these DVDs for these requests. I know Maribel takes about 50% of her time now is producing these videos. So as these, this is a great tool. I love it, but again, it's something that it costs. There's a cost that's involved with it. So I think that's it. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Hey, Chief, I was just thinking now that you said the DVDs, I'm wondering if there isn't a better way of transmitting the images through some type of shared link where it can just be uploaded versus burning it on an actual CD and providing it that way.
Yeah, those are things that we've actually looked at. There's one company that provides that, not the company we currently have, but the company we do have, they're looking at different portals that we can actually provide a login access by the district attorney's office. Those are things that are coming down to being developed right now.
Exactly. Thank you, Chief.
And WatchGuard is our vendor for our cameras and body cameras and our in-car videos. They're the vendor, and those are the ones that are looking at that right now. And attending some of these trade shows, those are things that we've asked, and they actually have been asked numerous times, so they are developing that, and I appreciate the question. So, anything else?
Any question for Chief?
I got a question, Chief. Can you explain what a priority 1, 2, and 3 call is?
Yeah, priority 1 is basically responding to those calls, those hot priority calls, the UCR Part 1 crimes, which were listed. Those are basically priority 1s. Any hot call in progress where somebody's in our community is threatened and we need to, some danger exists. Priority 2 are the calls for service might involve a cold crime report where we might respond to a burglary, some other crime where it's a cold call and there's no need to respond immediately. But we will respond. And the priority 3s might be house check, maybe a car stop, business check, those type of things. Kind of just one of those routine activities that the officers undertake while they're patrolling their communities, a school check, those type of things.
Thank you.
Any other question for the Chief? Audience? Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
And Fire Department? No reports. Engineering? Recreation's stepping up.
Good evening, everyone. I thought I needed to update you on a few things that the department has been doing along with the Rec Commission. At our last meeting, our very first mural application was approved, and so you will be seeing something shortly as weather permits to be placed on the side of the museum wall.
Can you share, Jackie, about the generous donation of the gentleman that's going to make sure that he plasters the wall?
Hernandez Lath and Plaster, Jesse Hernandez, who is a Livingston resident and proudly proclaims Livingston as his town, is doing all the prep work and repairing that wall so those windows don't show through. So we're pretty excited about that. Also, the Rec Commission is doing a fundraiser out at Little Guys. If you have had children play out there, you know it can be very sunny. And so they are raffling off a PS4. Any Rec Commissioner, do you have some in your pocket tonight? And Councilmember Aguilar also has tickets, or you can get them at City Hall. They're $5 a piece or 3 for $10. Also, tomorrow, the Rec Commission meets with the Livingston Union School District. We're looking at sponsoring a color run for the community. And so we're also going to be looking for volunteers to help us with that. Thursday, we are having a softball and baseball rules workshop. So any coaches, if you are interested in helping us improve the rules or updating our rules for youth baseball and softball, please come here Thursday at 6. We also have our second baseball registration that night from 5 to 7. It'll be at City Hall. Also this month, we will begin our swim team registration as well as our summer day camp registration. So we've got a lot going on, and looking forward to a great active spring and summer. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for Jackie, Council? Public? No? Thank you. Finance, Mr. Grant? Thank you. Mr. Sanchez, anything to report? Okay, last but not least, Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council and public. So I kind of mentioned in the previous meeting that we were really eyeing, putting a lot of attention on the Prop 68, which is that grant funding for parks and recreation. So the money has been, the NOFA, what they call the Notice of Funding Availability, is actually out. And so the turnaround is going to be pretty quick. So that's one of the reasons why I'm going to share quite a bit of information at this point. We did an assessment across the city to see where we can actually apply for funding and that we would be competitive in order to be able to go after some money. Again, the minimum amount that we can apply for is $200,000. The maximum is about $8 million. And so we looked at Max Foster Park, we looked at the other parks. And in reality, just like we were very successful in getting some CDBG funds for this census tract that's right here, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing the water lines. And so right now, I'm sure you've seen over the last few months that there's been some property negotiations items on our council, is that we're actually looking at the possibility of doing a project in that census tract. And so that's going to require a lot of participation from our community. So you're going to be seeing in the very near future some announcements where we're going to be asking you to come to some workshop to hear from you what you would like to see in this next Parks and Recreation grant that we're hoping to go after. And so there's going to be probably maybe 4 or 5, because all these have to be documented, and then it has to synergize, and then it's going to be written up by a professional grant writer. The great news is that we are partnering up with an organization it's a nonprofit organization, and they actually got money through a foundation, and they're going to pay through that foundation money. They're going to pay the grant writer to write that grant for us. But it's going to be up to you all, policy and the public, to come to these meetings and see what you would like, what this community needs. So one of the other things that we're hoping to do is to put, we're actually going to do like a little survey, and there's going to be a little sheet, and you get to write stuff in or check boxes, and so that we can use all that as part of our grant writing process. So stay tuned for that. Is there anything, Jackie, that I missed on that we need to communicate? So be on social media, and we want everybody to come. I mean, we could, have a full house. There's also going to be refreshments and things of that nature, and childcare. That's correct, and childcare, so that folks we want everybody to come out, and all that's actually going to be incorporated as part of the public health advocates, who are the nonprofit that we have a long-term relationship. That I have a long-term relationship going back, for maybe 15 years, and they're going to pick up the costs for that as well. So we are in a very, very sweet spot. So I want to make sure that we fill up the room, because they're going to give us, the best, so that we can be competitive enough to hopefully get 8 million, whatever it is that the community decides to go with. Okay. And then I would like to end my comments today just by taking a quick little moment to reflect a little bit about two employees. I would like to start with Betty. As you know, Betty Coda gave this community about 45 years. She was here for a long, long time. I think it's probably incorporated when she started. But, I mean, a long, long time. And due to lots of different reasons, she's opted to retire. And her last day was January 31st. She's very outgoing, but she's very bashful and shy. She didn't even show up to her award that she got at her awards banquet. But maybe we can, and I'm still working on her, so hopefully we can do a little retirement lunch or something if she doesn't want to do a dinner, but she won't do anything now. I've been trying. So stay tuned to that, but if you see Betty or know Betty, please thank her for her service. And then lastly, Odie Ortiz, just a little bit of background. Odie and we actually met at a Bible study group in college back in 1990. And we became friends. I went off to studying construction and engineering, and then I went off to get my master's degree. And he graduated, and I lost track of him for a little while. I didn't really know what he was going to venture into. I know that it was in business and accounting, but never thought he was going to be in city government. Well, I ended up going into city management, and then I was reading the paper one day, and I found out that he was actually, a finance director at another municipality, and I was like, wow. And so then I decided to seek him out, and we connected. And then there was the finance director that I had in the previous city where I was at. He retired, and so that was the beginning of a great complementary team, I would say. And so for the majority of my city management career, Odie has been there. And so I owe a lot of gratitude for him because he was a very hard worker. He was a very analytical, knew how to ask the right questions, and he was as straight can be. And so I thank him for his service, and I got to tell you that he gave it his all. Unfortunately, he lost, but his family is very grateful for everybody, all the prayers, and everybody's participation in today's services. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jose. Council, any questions of Jose? audience? If not, then I'll move on to Councilwoman Baptista. Any comments, subject? Any reports, comments?
I attended the New Mayors and Council Members Academy a couple weeks ago. I came away with some educational, the sessions probably some education in government and some tools and resources and some great networking opportunities. So I really appreciate attending, having the opportunity to attend that so that I can better serve the community.
Thank you. Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes, I attended the RAC Commission meeting. Just like Jackie stated, the commission was able to pass the first mural of hopefully many in downtown. So very happy to see that. They do have the fundraiser going on. I also attended along with Mr. Garcia. We've been attending the One Voice trip meetings with MCAG. The trip to Washington, D.C. will be the last week of April, so we've been attending those meetings regularly. Also attended the MCAG meeting that was held here in our chambers on the 17th, and attended the utility stakeholders meeting as well that's been going on here in the city. Regarding that, I mean, hopefully the public, engages more, and I would like to see more of the public, their thoughts and what they have to say regarding all of that. So I know the next meeting will be coming up soon. Hopefully get participation in general. Also attended the East Side Regional Project Committee meeting through MCAG on the 24th. It's very important that Livingston's represented in regards to our projects and Measure V funding and all of that. Just a date coming up, May 4th, the annual pancake breakfast will be coming up. More information to come, and we'll also set a date for our now annual safety fair, October 24th of this year. And I know the Young Men's Conference, Jose Moran, the first meeting was today, correct? Yeah, okay, so I'll be also hopefully participating with that project going on. And I think that's also, just words about Odie. When I first came to the council, he was the acting city manager, and great person. I'm very fortunate to have known him, and he kind of showed me what was going on in the city and educated me. And when I first started, there in his office on a regular basis. So, it was nice that I was there today, and it's very unfortunate, but all the prayers and thoughts are with his family. That's it.
Councilmember Kang?
Yeah, me and Grupal attended the city country relationship dinner in Gustine. Had a chance to meet the mayors, city council, the chief. That's about it.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
I have nothing to report. I just had a busy week.
Okay. And I also want to add on with passing of Mr. Ortiz. Councilmember Aguilar is absolutely correct. Council members, at different times do spend time with the finance people. I think I spent quite a bit of time with Mr. Grant, because that's where the money is. You want to go where you know where their money is hidden, not where this guy is good, but they know where the money is. That's where you want to be. But it was good to see so many people show up for Mr. Ortiz. He worked hard. I had the opportunity to work with him at different levels. I know when Mr. Aguilar came on, he was already the acting city manager, but I know that if I needed a straight answer, I went to him regarding finance, or when he was acting city manager, he gave you the answer that he thought it was correct, not what you wanted to hear. And I think for that, we were always grateful. And he knew how to hold his line on finance and cost. I would go say, Odie, I see the money here. Yeah, but what happens if the economy goes down? We have that argument back and forth. One of the most conservative fellows you can find as far as comes to finance and he helped us through some rough times based on how he managed the finances, and he was a good hard worker, and he will be missed. And with that, I don't have anything else, so we'll move on to citizens' comments. This section of the agenda allows the members of the public to address the city council on any item not otherwise on the agenda. Members of the public, when recognized by the mayor, should come forward to the lectern and identify themselves. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes in accordance with the open meeting laws. No action will be taken by the city council this evening. For items which are on the agenda this evening, members of the public will be provided an opportunity to address the city council as each item is brought up for the discussion. Does anybody wish to address the city council on a citizen comment? Please come forward and remember to state your name and address and limit to 3 minutes. We will call out our 30-second advisory to let you know. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Mary McWaters. I work for AFSCME. I represent the public works employees here for the city. I've only been to a couple of these meetings, and now that we have a new council seated, I just wanted to introduce myself so that we are at the bargaining table now, and you can put a face with the other side of the table. So if you have any questions, Jose has my information, and anybody can get in touch with me. Thank you.
Mr. Soria, Mayor Soria. Kind of feels odd, doesn't it, to be on that side?
It sure does. I don't know what to do with myself. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Honorable Council. Congratulations again, and thank you for the plaque. A few things. I do want to give my condolences to the Ortiz family. Just like you mentioned, I had some great times with Odie and, trying to get, stuff balanced out. So very humble man, family man, so he'll be truly missed. So my condolences to him and his family. If city and council will provide him and his family with the plaque down the road, please invite me. I'd like to attend to that. Congratulations to Betty. She was like a mom sometimes. I'd go in and, she'd sit down, mijo, and, so just go over stuff. So congratulations to her. 45 years is, a long time. I grew up with their son, Beaver, so I know Betty very well, so congratulations to her. And thirdly, just want to make sure when you guys decide on the county revenue sharing agreement that Livingston gets its fair share. I know when I was on the council, we'd like to get something, the same thing that Merced got. So please don't, try not to undershort us with the Livingston's just as great as Merced and Atwater and all these communities. So I want to make sure our community gets its fair share. So please keep that in mind when it comes to that. Other than that, congratulations again. Have a good evening and God bless.
Anybody else? Since no one's coming forward, the citizen comment of the portion is now closed. We'll move on to the consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar considered routine and non-controversial will be enacted by one vote unless a separate action is requested by the city manager or city council member. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the city council or city manager requests a specific item be removed. We have one item. This is the approval of the warrant register dated February 1, 2019. Council, any discussion? If not, I will entertain a motion. Come on, you know better now.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Councilmember Aguilar. Do I have a second, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Second.
I have a second by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
A motion passed 5-0 because there was no resolution. Okay, discussion of potential action items. This is the project update for Witten Parkway on-ramp widening improvements, and I see Mario coming forward. Mario, tell us the good news that you got it done already.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, members of the public. I'll give you an update. Maybe I'll give a little background on the project since some of the members weren't here when it first came about. So the project is basically focusing on removing the bottleneck that's, let's see if I can get this thing to work. There you go. The bottleneck that's at the southbound entrance to 99. So as you all know, the lanes merge, and there's some traffic issues there, primarily a couple times a day, but it is an ongoing problem. The city was successful in securing some Measure V funds for this project, just for what you see here, for the widening of the pavement to accommodate a right turn lane, a dedicated right turn lane. In addition to that, the council had indicated that now would be a good time to redo the pavement from that area there at the north all the way to the traffic signal at Joseph Gallo, which is a really great idea. So we pursued that with Caltrans. We prepared a geotech report to make sure we knew what could be done here to widen this area, since there's quite a difference in grade from the pavement down to the little ravine there. So that has been done, and we'll be able to build a retaining wall, which is what you see. I think I forgot my pointer. So if this is the existing pavement here, you have a wall and you just widen it here, and there'd be the new sidewalk. So this would be filled, and then there would be a drop here. There'd be a rail for protection here. So that was looked at, and our team met with Caltrans a couple of times to go through this, and they are open to having this retaining wall here, and it is done to their standards. So they already have standards for doing this sort of project. So that's a little bit of the background of the project. Now, we had approached Caltrans with the other portion of this project, which is repaving from where the widening will be. The widening will be here, all the way to the signal, a little bit further south here. I'm sure most of you know the pavement here is in poor shape, so it really needs to be reconstructed. In meetings with Caltrans, we went back and forth how to do this. The biggest challenge here is not to do the work, but it's to accommodate traffic. It'll be traffic control, traffic handling. As you know, there's all the businesses here and here. Now there's Motel 6, a little to the west here, and of course Rancho San Miguel and all those other businesses. So we had suggested doing the pavement in 4 sections here. That's what those different colors are for. So you would do the green and then the red and blue and so on. Caltrans is fine with that. They did make a recommendation, and that's the update now on where we are, and it's to actually break the project into two phases, and go ahead and do the taking the bottleneck out. They seem to think that we can just get a permit for that really fast, which I know we've been there before. But I do tend to agree that getting a permit to do this is probably faster than getting the whole thing in one shot because of the traffic handling, because it may include closing the exit temporarily, overnight, weekend, that sort of thing, to do the pavement work. That would entail possibly detours, closing some of those areas, and that's going to have a significant impact on the businesses, obviously. So I just wanted to bring forth that thought, and we think it's a good way to move this forward. Once we get this phase one, we'll call it, and then your bottleneck is gone. So you actually do have a nice way to access the 99. And then later this year, and it could be almost immediately after that, pursue the other permit to do the pavement. Now the pavement is mostly in the city right away. So the Caltrans right away is about more or less along here where that fence is. So there's not a whole lot that's in there right away, but the impact is on traffic on 99. If you close it or don't close it, limit it. You could close the access here, or still do it in, we call it quadrants, in the 4 segments there. So that's basically where we're at. So we wanted to come up here and mention to the council that we think that Caltrans' suggestion is good in terms of timing and in terms of getting the project moving forward and removing the biggest issue, which is the bottleneck. So I'd love to answer any questions.
Council, questions? Audience, any questions?
Question.
If you do have a question, please come forward. Please come there and state your name and address for the record.
Gabriel Salazar, 1024 Sunset Court. I do have a few questions. What's a time frame if that is implemented? Number two, if there is asphalt placed there, and it may require closing of the access to the 99 southbound, how long is there an estimate how long that would be closed off? And number three, presently I think there's a merger right there in that area as you go straight or you turn right to go southbound. Does this mean with this proposal that there will be two lanes, and one will go directly to 99 southbound and one will go directly straight so folks will go northbound? Those are my questions.
Sure. Mario, do you want to answer those questions, please?
Let me answer your last question first. The answer is yes, and I actually did mention there's a dedicated turn. I'll go back to it. Then we have, there you go. So what you see here in the lighter color is the existing pavement. And the darker gray would be the new pavement, which that will be a dedicated right turn lane. So the answer is yes. It's going to have its own turning lane to access southbound 99. I think your first question was about schedule, more or less, when that would be. And from our latest meetings with Caltrans, they indicated that once we have plans into them, which should be within a month, that they would probably permit it within a month also. So you're looking at 2 months, and then it has to be advertised for a month. So you're looking late spring, early summer. The pavement one would be immediately following that. So we have to do it while the weather's still good. So it would be late summer, early fall for the pavement portion. And you had another question. What was it? Okay, I think I answered that. Okay, sure, you're welcome.
Any other questions? If not, thank you. And moving to item 4, this is to adopt a resolution supporting the implementing of the AB 1012 timely use of funding required under Federal Surface Transportation Act, the City of Livingston Alley Pavement Improvements Phase 1 and 2. And I believe, I don't see Mr. Martinez, so I guess Mario will take over for that too. So Mario?
I'll take care of it. Yes. So
But-
this is a.
By the way, Council, we are honored that he's now using PowerPoint. I remember when he first started,
See.
it was paper on the wall, so it was kind of hard.
So this is related to the two CMAQ applications that went in a couple of months ago, and it was recommended for award. So that's the one for repaving the alleys, if you recall. So going along with those applications, there's AB 1012, which is timely expenditure of funds that the federal folks require to go along with them. So that's a routine thing that we've done many times for these FHWA grants that we get all the time. So this one is specifically for the alleys. One of them is just under, I think, $500,000, and the other one is in the $300,000 range. So that's what those are for. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Audience, any questions? Council? Anybody? If not, I'll entertain a motion at this time. Mr. Aguilar, go ahead. Mr. Garcia is going to do it.
I'll take one, please.
Oh, you guys throwing it in there, huh? Okay, go ahead for
I'll
it.
make a motion. Do I have to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Adopt a resolution supporting and implementing the AB 1012 timely use of funding required under the Federal Surface Transportation Act for the City of Livingston Alley Paving Improvement Phase 1 and 2.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. Do I have a second?
I second that.
I have a second by Councilmember Aguilar. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Batista? Yes. Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Samra?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, this is item number 5. This is to accept the grant deed for public utility easement dedicated by Motel 6 project for APN 022-010-016 and authorize the city manager to execute the certificate of acceptance for recording of the grant deed. And Mario's still there.
Thank you, Mayor, again. Another routine item, this is related to the Motel 6 project. Normally, all these projects, in addition to the streets and the sidewalks, there's a public utilities easement. Normally, it's 10 feet behind the sidewalk. That's what this is about, and it's for normally dry utilities. And being that's in the city needs to accept it. It's a recordable instrument, so that's why we're here with that. And I'll be glad to answer anything and on the
Okay,
details if you'd like.
Thank you. Audience, any questions? If nobody's coming forward, item is now closed to the public. Council, any comments? Or I'll entertain a motion if there are no comments.
I'll make the motion to accept the grant deed of the public utility easement dedicated by the Motel 6 project, APN 022-010-016, and authorize the city manager to execute a certificate of acceptance for recording of the grant deed.
I have a motion by Councilmember Aguilar. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Batista? Yes. Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Samra?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, items 6 and 7 are tabled at a later date. So we'll move on to item number 8. This is the resolution awarding the professional service contract to provide to provide water, wastewater, and solid waste utility rate studies, community outreach, and Prop 218 ballot service for Hansford Economic Consulting, HEC, Truckee, California, and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement. I believe Mr.
That's myself.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the committee members that have participated and the stakeholders. And we definitely invite the public. It's open to the public, and we hope that the other members that make up the committee can make it out, because it's only going to get more and more important, the meetings as we go along. But anyways, what we have in hand here is that we received 3 proposals. We sent an RFP out. We got 3 proposals. Of the 3 proposals, we had 2 that could make it and present, and they presented. And the stakeholders committee decided that Catherine, whose company is Hansford's Economic Consulting, would be the most appropriate, best cost, and also and had the most to provide to the city in terms of efficiencies, from the standpoint of, one, she knows water, wastewater, and solid waste, versus the other companies, in this particular case, Raftelis, who had a separate consultant for solid waste. In addition to that, as part of their overall cost of $88,000, and if we needed them to come out for more meetings, they budgeted, if I remember correctly, only 3 meetings, versus Hansford, what was incorporated in her $55,000 proposal, had 7 meetings. And the cost for additional meetings, if need be, would be around $2,000 versus $3,500 for the other consultant. There was also a great contrast in terms of them two. One, has pretty much specialized in small, rural, medium-sized cities, versus the other firm that, has done Atwater as an example. But if you look at the other names, they're really bigger, big cities. And the other difference is, again, you have a group of consultants versus one person that can answer all questions for you, and that had private and public experience. So based on all of those elements, and because she actually did our rate study the last go-around, which is also another point of consideration, the stakeholders is recommending to council that we contract again with Hansford Economic Consulting.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. Just before I open to the public, I want to just chime in on what Mr. Ramirez says. Last time we did do the 218 study, HEC was awarded the contract, and it was also ran through the stakeholders committee, and it worked out really well. She knows, the company knows how to do things for us, and we were very satisfied with the last go around with this group. So I just wanted to add that to the comments. Okay, before I bring it to council, this is a public, so does anybody from the public wish to address the council on it this time? Since I don't see anybody moving forward, this item is now closed to the public. Council discussion? Anybody, no discussion? Then if not, I will entertain a motion at this time. Okay, I will make a motion that we adopt a resolution awarding the professional service contract to provide water, wastewater, solid waste, utility rate studies, community outreach, and Prop 218 balloting service to Hanford Economic Consulting, HEC, Truckee, California, and authorize the manager to execute the agreement. A motion by the mayor. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Second by Councilmember Kang. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Batista? Yes. Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Samra?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, council,
Just wanted to add something.
go ahead, please.
Yes, just one final thought, since we were talking about the Utility Stakeholders Committee. The next item that's going to be pretty big, that's going to be on the agenda, is the train, which is our water and energy efficiency consultant. They're going to be presenting, and this is very important because this is going to have hopefully a positive impact on our utility rates moving forward, because they're going to be proposing projects that we should move forward with for energy and water efficiency. And so we have to look at their performance, and it's a complicated field, so that's why it would be great to have, a couple of workshops, and the best place to do this is the utility stakeholders before it comes to council. So you're all invited, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't know yet, we don't have a date yet, but it's going to go out. As soon as I get the dates, I'll be shooting them out. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, before we adjourn, any further business? Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, I just want to bring up the idea of we can probably move our council meetings back from 7 to 6 p.m.
I'm sorry, I was being whispered advice. Can you repeat that again, please? I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem, I apologize.
Just had the idea, throwing it out there, we could probably move our council's meetings from 7 p.m. back to 6 p.m.
Okay, legal, or can you tell us what is necessary in order to bring this forward, or what do we need to do?
Oh, we could agendize it for a future meeting for discussion. Most likely it would require, I think the city is in the municipal code, has the time for the meetings. Usually it's in the municipal code itself or a resolution, but so that would need to be amended.
Okay, can we bring it to, what we would like to do is assign, if the council agrees, of course, is by just, is to assign legal to research to see what we need to do. And if it can be done if it needs to be done through ordinance change, we'll go through our procedure. If it's a simple resolution, working with the legal and city manager, can you bring this item on our agenda at the earliest convenience?
Absolutely.
Okay, are we in agreement with that, council? Or bring it at,
Yeah,
soon as the staff is
research it
ready?
and bring it to
Yeah.
to meeting, yeah.
Okay, if not, any further business, council? If not, we are in adjournment.